All right, so my name is Daudi Kaggwa, and I am a visual artist from Uganda, but I'm based here in Nairobi, Kenya. All right. The way I think I'd have convinced my parents to let me do art. I actually don't think it was really a convincing. It was more so a open conversation. So I think when it came to what are you gonna do for university, I think I had my mind set on something else. And I think I wanted to do architecture. I think at the time, and I think the more and more I was like looking into schools and different things that I could do. Just had an open conversation with them, and it didn't seem like they were opposed to it. But the more and more I spoke about it more freely, so I think that they actually kind of encouraged me as well. Like, hey, if you're gonna go do this thing, you gotta be serious. You gotta, like, there's no you can't. You also have to show them that how serious you are about it, and that's what I did. Yeah. On Throughout my career so far, I could say that you have to do everything as an artist. You have to figure out all sorts of kind of ways to make money. The main ideal goal is to sell art and that be your main source of income. But until you have established yourself and have an established career, getting to that place is a grueling hustle. You have to hustle. So if you need to go and find work, go and find work doing something else to supplement your income, to be able to buy supplies, to be able to create at the same time. So, but also immerse yourself in different places. So go, like for instance, I went to go work at a gallery. I've worked at different galleries. I've worked at schools as well. In the different art departments as well. Just trying to figure out how do I supplement my income as best as possible while I'm still trying to sell paintings and developing a name out of it. I don't think there's been any major setbacks, but I think what I would say is the only setbacks I'd have for myself are more personal setbacks, like more conflict of um, trying to figure out through ideas, trying to figure out, getting through a artist block or those sort of little. I find them little things because I'm just like, there's nothing that really can stop you from working. So it's literally just your mind that has refused to, process the ideas that you have in a more, easy way for you to get them out, or you're in a place where you haven't really relaxed yourself or, taken the time to really be within a certain space for you to, like, go out into nature, go out and do this, like where you have like secluded, because a lot of the time when you spend a lot of time in your studio, you will find that eventually those walls become very thick and you can't really see beyond what you're focused on right here and right now. So those would be like the setbacks I think I'd be with. um yeah, there have been times when I've been broke. You are looking at, your income is dwindling, you're working off savings, and you the main thing is you have a roof over your head. Let's focus on that. So it's also just being like, all right, you just understand that like understanding the concept of money. Like, money will come, money will go, but where you are right now is also very important. That within this struggle, I know that I can overcome adversity and make it to the other side if I'm diligent enough to work hard enough to make it to the level that I'm trying to be at. So if I decide, hey, I'm going to go and take a step down and make a painting for, make small little paintings for, let's say, 10,000 shillings. Sometimes that's all you need. That's all you need to do. Where it's just thinking outside the box to just be like, hey, how can I engage people with the work that I'm doing? And, make things for your friends, make things for people. People are always interested in what you have to do if you have something to say. Um, and then just build yourself back up slowly. Like, it's all a game. It's all a numbers game. So if you just pay attention to where you are, knowing that you have less now than you did before, that's also okay. Knowing that I'll get back to that same place. It's also a sense of self drive within yourself to be that I can get there. Yeah. I think with art, it would be not knowing where to get the best materials
Right.
or how to necessarily do things. Because like for instance, initially I'd be buying pre-primed canvas and buying stretch pre-primed stretch like pre fabricated stretchers, and all of these things eventually the price of the work, you can't produce as much work because the price of those things are a lot higher. So it's finding out where to get the raw materials to do it yourself in order for you to ramp up the amount of production for the size of the things that you want. The weirdest source of inspiration out of gotten, I think, would be, yeah, I draw inspiration from everywhere actually.
Mm.
So anything really can be inspiration. So be it the way the sun hits the leaf at 4 p.m., or the way the wind blows this cloud in a particular direction, or just in conversations you've had with a friend, or particular concepts that you've thought of, that everything like everything is interesting if you pay close enough attention to it. Um, so if you think about something simple like as a stoplight, the simple colors are red, amber, green. But what can we do with that? How can I break that down into, into a painting, for instance? Like why would those colors be a necessary thing to put together? What does this signify? What does that signify? And kind of engaging in conversations about different things also kind of opens your scope on how to think about things. So the East African art scene is growing. Um, I guess compared to its counterparts from, like, let's say compared to the West African and South African markets. So having had studied in South Africa, I could see the development a of the art world in that space. So the art world in East Africa is very small, and I think it's only getting bigger. So, but I think the main objective that I think for the East African art scene is getting the general public to get to a space where they are in tune with the creative arts. So, let's say for your industry professionals, it would be the looking at art as a means of investment, understanding who the fine art and the contemporary artists are in the region, and investing into their growth. So let's say you've in your portfolio, you'd look at, let's say, the top um, artists in the different time periods, maybe your modern artists or emerging artists from the region, and you've purchased, let's say, a piece or two from each of those people, and knowing that in the next 5 years that this work is going to appreciate in value, knowing that the careers of these artists are also going to appreciate. But also the downfall is also because I guess it's we are in a space where we have a lot of consumer products. So there'd be cheap imitations of things that you people tend to go and buy to put on their walls. So cheap prints, or you know canvas prints on paper, those kind of things that people put on their walls. And I'm not saying that that's a bad thing because everyone has their own kind of tastes, but I feel like to be able to develop the art scene in Kenya, it has to be in a space where the artists are engaging with the public in a space in a way that draws them in and also engages them to understand what the art world is about. Yeah. How to sustain a career in art for a young artist, I feel, would be to remain consistent. That's the main objective. For me, I guess the motto is faith, consistency, and hard work. Just maintain your headspace and maintain your work ethic, and know that with the work that you're doing, you have to have particular goals, you have to have objectives that you are trying to achieve. Because any career without an aim, especially in the art world, can land you in a stagnant space for very many years before you either get discovered by somebody, or it goes also back to the age old saying, closed mouths don't get fed. So if you are sitting in your studio by yourself, never going to art shows, you don't go and interact with the wider art world, go find out about galleries. Go follow all of them on Instagram. Go Find out when the shows are, go participate, go talk to people there, go find out how, because there's developing an art practice and then also somebody who paints. And trying to make that distinction is also, um, because it doesn't mean that you're not a talented painter, but doesn't mean that you'll be able to sustain an art practice. And that is a very different thing when it comes to actually having a body of work that you can now, show the world that this is what I'm trying, this is the story that I'm trying to tell. And those are the things that people need to pay attention to, especially when it comes to art, is knowing that it's not just about the paintings. There's also hard admin work that you have to do. There's emails you have to send. There's, you know, conferences you should attend, different kind of things, different spaces that you should put yourself into. That, go for the artist talks, go for the seminars, whatever there is that's going on in the art world. The more and more people know your name, the more and more easier it is, because a lot of the things are based off of communication and connections. So that's how you'd be able to sustain an art practice. How would they sustain themselves financially? I would say save. That's to start. That's step number one. As an artist, save as much as you can. And once you have enough that you have saved, invest. And it's a thing that I really want to teach artists, is also just knowing how to use your money to make it work for you, so that you know that when you get older, you don't have to rely on a job. That the money that you made while you were in your youth can sustain you going forward, because you made wise investments when you were younger. You worked and you sold a few things. You've spent money on your tools and all these things to develop your skill base, but you need to be able to have enough of a cushion to protect you in terms of when for your health. You don't have, because majority of artists won't have insurance, so trying to figure out something, figure out at least a buffer while you are supplementing your income, in order find out how much you'd need to survive off of, and invest that money, so that you have that amount of money coming back into your account. That way you'll be able to sustain your life without having to stress.
Good advice. Luckily, Fingo has both.
And Fingo has both. um, the advice I'd give myself, my younger self, I think would be to stay patient. Um, you have every opportunity to be who you want to be. All you have to do is be patient and be clear with your goals. And I can say, looking back, that played a, I have played that game. I can look back at the goals that I made in my youth and be like, okay, this child has worked to get to this point. And to give him advice, I think could be just be patient, because I remember he wanted to figure it out as soon as possible. When is it going to be my turn? When am I going to figure this out? How am I going to get to this spaces? I don't know anything about the Kenyan East African art scene. I don't know anything, and majority of the time is a lot of kids don't know anything. They, because obviously it's not necessarily taught in the schools. What kind of life can be had in the arts. So I was like, I would tell him to seek out the information earlier, so that he is more prepared to do more research, be more inquisitive, just pay a bit more attention. Because it doesn't mean that I feel like not necessarily that I didn't do those things, like I wasn't paying attention, but I feel like if I had been a bit more keen and focused on what exactly I wanted to do, I feel like I would have been a lot further, just a little bit further. But I wouldn't trade where I am right now for anything else. So yeah. Okay, I think what I would like to say is that you can do it. You can really be anything that you want to be. You can focus your mind, and you can like, if you are determined, there's nothing I believe that you can't achieve. Again, I would say it again. The motto is faith, consistency, and hard work. If you place yourself in a position where you fortify your mind, understand, and truly believe that you are capable, you are able to do immeasurably great things. Your time on this earth is limited. Find out what you love and do it do it unfailingly. You are able to be everything and anything. So be kind, be loving, and peace out.